You're 33, good looking, and single. Doesn't your family not ask you to get married?
I'm working on that.
Hello and welcome to another special edition of Midday's Meet Your Icon, where we bring India's top sportsperson face to face with their fans. Our guest today is someone who has ruled the green base for almost 2 decades. He's a multiple-time snooker and billiards world champion with 21 world titles to his credit. Please join me in welcoming none other than Pankaj Advani. Pankaj, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you. 21 world titles. I know it's an incredible achievement. But if asked to pick one of your sweetest victories, which one would that be and why?
Well, since there's so many young kids here and children, I would like to tell them also that your first love is always special whenever you experience it. Similarly, when it comes to my titles, I feel like my first world title has been the most special one in my career because I went there as a nobody. I went to China to play the World Snooker Championships, representing India for the first time in snooker. And it was an incredible journey where I was almost knocked out of the tournament, and one fluke changed the entire course of the event for me, and I ended up winning the World Championship just at the age of 18, beating a Pakistani player in the final. So that really would be my most memorable moment till date in my sporting career.
What is Pankaj Advani like when he puts his cue down? There are different facets of your life that if you can share.
Well, if it helps, I'd like to tell the kids that I don't drink at all.
Wow.
I'm actually a teetotaler because I only have tea. That's my favorite beverage, whether it's in the morning or evening. Of course, it's not that I'm trying to advise you or tell you that it's bad for you. It's everybody has their own choice and way of looking at things, but alcohol is something that really clouds your judgment, and it changes the way you think as an individual. And any substance you consume which alters your thinking is definitely not good for your health because it makes you defy logic and you become irrational after consuming these things. Besides that, when I'm not playing in tournaments or preparing for my matches, I like watching superhero films. And I'm sure all you guys have your favorite superheroes. I'm a huge Batman fan. I watched all Batman films, so it's something that I like doing. Just watching any superhero film for that matter, whether it's a DC character or a Marvel character, it just fascinates me. Although a lot of them may think that I'm thinking like a kid, but it's just good to see a different side of things, and because entertainment actually takes you to another world. And when you do your daily activities and your daily things, you want something to just take you to another world. So superhero films does that for me.
And how about your lifestyle? Like, how do you spend your time? Is it reading? Is it watching movies or music?
Yeah, I love music. I love spending time with family and friends because whenever I'm traveling, I'm away from my closest near India ones for a long period of time. But I like doing different things as well. Like recently, we've started academies in different schools in Bangalore, and I would like to actually introduce this sport in across schools in India, where kids can have access to facilities of billiards and
Access is
snooker
one
all
of the
over.
biggest issue I guess people face in Q sports.
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
you started with game parlors.
Yeah. So to give them formal training, get them to actually learn from a good coach, provide them with the opportunity to play this game and be coached by an expert, then take them, do a little bit of talent scouting, take them to inter-school tournaments. We all have plans, we have plans to do all of these things in the future, but they will take time to shape up. Correct. We have to target the youth. And that's why it's so important to keep them, healthy and fit, and encourage them to take up different kinds of sports.
Pankaj, we have some of your, diehard fans who also play snooker and billiards. They have some questions for you.
I'm Arnav. What age did you start playing Q sports?
Hi Arnav, I started playing at the age of 10. I used to follow my older brother to the snooker club every day during my summer holidays. I felt that, maybe I should try my hand at it. I was really, really short, probably shorter than you at that time. I didn't take a stool, although a lot of people made stories of me saying that, oh, Pankaj started playing on a stool because he was really short, but that was not the truth. So when I took my first shot on the table, the ball went inside. So that's how my journey began in the world of Q Sport.
Hi, my name is Zara. What is the ideal number of hours one has to put in for practice if they want to excel in billiards or snooker?
Hi Zara, in fact my niece's name is also Zara. Yeah, every sport or every field requires a certain amount of hard work and effort, But for me, it was never effort. I used to play as much as I wanted to, depending on my mood. Sometimes it used to be 5 hours, 7 hours initially when I was, between the age of 10 and 16, 17. And after that, obviously, it reduced because it was more of quality than quantity. But it all depends on how much you enjoy it. And sometimes you feel like going at odd hours and playing or doing something because you're so passionate. So because I was in love with the sport, and I still am, I feel like, all those years of hard work and, well, not hard work, but all those years of practice, time that I put on the table has helped me achieve quite a bit in the game.
Quite a bit.
My name is Veer Parekh. You have played many big matches where you have been nervous for a shot. How do you keep yourself calm?
Hi Veer, that's a really good question. I feel that everybody goes through pressure, If somebody had to tell me that you're extremely calm and you're always, how come you're able to handle pressure so well, I would just tell them one thing, that listen, I go through a lot of butterflies, in my tummy before my match. It's the same for my opponent. The whole idea is to understand that the pressure is always going to be there. And instead of trying to ignore it, and instead of trying to say, oh, why am I feeling this way? Instead of resisting that feeling, let's enjoy the feeling and say, okay, fine. If I'm facing pressure, even my opponent is facing that pressure. So let's deal with it and see what best we can do, given that, there is going to be a lot of pressure from the opponent when he plays well, and external factors like the crowd, because sometimes people have a lot of fear performing in front of a crowd. Over the years, you understand that it's only about you and what you can produce, rather than what the external factors or the outside world, thinks of you. So don't ever be scared of being judged, of what people are going to say if you don't perform well. You be yourself, express yourself in the way that you can, and be confident, and things will work. And we are all human beings. We are going to make mistakes, and that's what I tell myself when I'm under pressure, that listen, you are going to make mistakes at times. You can't be playing perfectly all the time. Do we all get 100% marks in our exams? No. I'm sure none of you have got them consistently, or maybe one odd time really. That's the beauty of sport, that's the beauty of any field that we take up, whether it's academics or sport or fine arts, that we are never going to be perfect, but we strive to get there at some stage, and in that process we tend to fulfill our potential.
In 2017, you became the first QS to win both, snooker and billiards world titles. How much incredible that feeling was for you?
In Q Sports, for those who don't really follow Q Sports or don't know the difference between billiards and snooker, the finer aspects of the game, to just break it down, let me tell you that everybody normally specializes in one sport, whether it's billiards or snooker or even pool for that matter. But no one has ever tried to excel in two versions of Q Sport or taken up both seriously and at the world level. And I felt that why not? If I have a certain ability, if I can find a way to form a technique where I can actually play both games at the highest level, then let me just give it a shot. And till date, obviously, it's a constant struggle, but that's where the fun is. Only when you struggle do you really, enjoy doing something. And when you go through the grind, of course, I love both games, and that's the reason why I still play both games. But it just challenges me to constantly reinvent myself and excel in two different versions of Q Sports, which are so different in terms of technique, in terms of the scoring pattern, in terms of the way you approach the game. And I feel like it's just challenged me, and it's broadened my horizons in the sport, and it's made me go out of my comfort zone. So I feel like excelling in both games and winning the World Championships in 2017 in Doha was really, really a special moment for me.
How do you strike that balance? You said it's a struggle, and it takes you out of your comfort zone as well.
Billiards is a game of prolonged periods of concentration, of endurance and of stamina. And snooker is a game of accuracy, precision and tactical awareness. And I feel that both games are very contrasting in their styles of play. So that's what really challenges you as a cueist. 99.99% of the players specialize in one sport. So I thought, why not just be different and try something, that really brings out a different side in you, because I prefer variety. I don't prefer just playing one sport or just sticking to the basics. I feel like finding your own way of doing things and finding your individual style of play, being unique, is something that really appeals to me. And that's what I would like to tell all the kids over here also, is that be your own person, don't copy anybody, and do what works for you the best way.
Talking about the skill set, as you said, it's one is about endurance and one is about precision, accuracy. So how did you develop both skills simultaneously?
Well, so my first achievements, major achievements came in snooker in 2003, where I won the national title and the world title. And then in 2005, I picked up in billiards. It was only post 2008 where I felt that, I could actually play both games and make a career out of both sports and play them at the highest level. And my coach Arvind Savur also always made me believe in myself, and he told me that, listen, you have great natural ability and you must believe yourself at all times. And I feel like as cliched as it sounds and as monotonous as it sounds, that you must believe in yourself, I feel that that's the most important ingredient for any achiever to have, that self-belief, that inner belief that I can do it. Of course, not to be overconfident and flamboyant and say, I can achieve anything, but to actually get down to doing it and say, if I really am passionate about something, I can actually excel in it.
You're talking about cue sports. It's not very popular as compared to cricket and football in India. So sometimes does that hurt you?
I just feel it's a matter of perception. I mean, snooker is probably a mainstream sport in China. Cricket is not. In India, cricket is a mainstream sport, but some of the precision sports like cue sports, archery, chess are all differently perceived. So every country has their favorite sports, and in India it's probably games that involve where people cheering in stadiums and wanting quick results and not truly understanding the precision and the skill involved. So obviously there's a way of educating the public when it comes to sports like ours, and I feel like a lot can be done to popularize the sport. To get children like them to start playing the game, because once you start the game, it's a bug. You get addicted to it. So yeah, of course it does. You do feel at times that the game should be televised more and that there should be more visibility for the top players. But I'm sure with time, I think things will change. Already we are seeing a change in terms of the Olympic sports and with the Khelo India initiative coming in through the ministry. So I feel like there is a good future for all kinds of sport in India.
But you're 33, good looking and single. Doesn't your family not ask you to get married?
I'm working on that. No, actually truly am. Yeah, there have been a few proposals and I have met a few girls, to be honest. Yeah, thanks for those compliments, by the way. Not everybody thinks the same. Yeah, you'll hear the good news soon, hopefully. I mean, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I do believe there's a time and place for everything, and I don't think I was ready for marriage a couple of years ago, but I think guys mature a little late. You girls mature so fast that it's difficult for us to keep up. But yeah, in the next 1.5 years, I am looking to go ahead and settle down, because I do believe that, every phase of life, you need to do certain things at a particular time, otherwise time runs out.
Hi, I'm Zainab Saria. Being a celebrity and a known face, I'm pretty sure there must be like trolling on social media. How do you deal with the negativity both online and offline?
It's part and parcel of every person who's in the public eye. It's not easy, let me tell you. We're all human beings at the end of the day. Everybody has feelings. If people think that those who are famous are in a world of their own, let me tell you, it's not the case. We're all human beings. We all want peace, happiness. We all want appreciation at the end of the day, but we know that we're not always going to get it. And that's the price we pay. And criticism is okay as long as it's constructive. But the moment it becomes destructive criticism, that's when you take offense. So there are times I've reacted to trolls also, and I'm not very proud of it, because I feel like if they're saying something, why should I stoop down to that level? And if there is some truth in it, then I quietly endure it. So it's also about being aware of where you think you could have gone wrong, but at the same time, if people are being unreasonable with you, then I think it's best not to react, because that's where you actually truly show your maturity.
Hi, I'm Aranza.
I know.
What would it take for your opponent to beat you? Any tips or suggestions which you can give?
I don't know whether I should say this in front of the kids or not, but you can give me a medicine that makes me sleepy. Give me a pillow to lie down on, and when I get up, I'll be all over the place.
Why do QS always dressed in a formal attire, and why not in a sporting attire?
For a long time, I've actually been against the dress code of the waistcoat and bow tie and long sleeve shirt and trousers, because I feel it's actually restrictive. And as a player, because when you're playing, you're restricted, because the bow tie is sort of kind of strangling you in a way. The shirt is there, the waistcoat is there, and it kind of restricts you in your movement when you're playing. At the same time, I feel like if we play in shorts and in extremely casual attire, it will just not blend with the image of the sport. I'm not saying that this sport is meant only for the elite or rich people. I mean, all of us who've performed in this sport have come from middle class backgrounds, and I feel that it's not really expensive to take up a sport like billiards and snooker. Because it's played in an indoor environment, it's not extremely physical in nature in terms of running or using physical power. I do feel that, even a waistcoat with a long sleeve shirt and jeans, or maybe even trousers, but not the bow tie. I feel like the bow tie could definitely be eliminated from the dress code. And I've been vocal, in fact, about this for a few years, but I don't know why the international bodies still choose to stick to it. But I'm not a great fan of the extremely formal dress code. I feel that it could be toned down a bit.
21 world title itself is incredible achievement, but what is your ultimate dream? That okay, 50 titles, 60 titles?
Over the years, whenever I've played, initially I thought if I win one world title, it'll be great. And I must relate this small incident where a journalist asked me when I was just 11 years old, after I won my first tournament, what would you like to become when you grow up? And very innocently, I said I would like to be a world champion. And I didn't even know how much time it would take or whether I was good enough or not, because at the age of 10, 11, you're just starting off the game. You really don't know how good you are in the game and you're yet to fulfill your potential. The fact that I thought about it itself meant that it was there in my mind and that I had that belief that I would do it. Again, I'm just reiterating, the fact that it's so important to dream big. And only when you dream big, will you eventually work towards reaching there and you'll do the right things and put in all that you have.
Thank you, Pankaj, for being on our show. We really believe, your fans would have got a much closer perspective of what Pankaj Advani is like in real life. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Pankaj, once again.
Thanks so much.